It took me almost 90 years to say this out loud, honestly. No longer bitter or angry, just honest. When you've lived as long as I have, you stop trying to make things sound nice for the sake of comfort. You start saying things the way they truly are. And the truth I've come to after a lifetime of watching people is this: I trust no one but myself, not even family. Now, before you turn away from that sentence, thinking it sounds cold, let me explain. Because I didn't start life this way. None of us do. When you're young, you're taught something very simple, almost like a rule of nature. Family is where you're safe. Family is where loyalty lives. Family is where you can rest your guard, where you don't have to think twice, where love is supposed to be unconditional. And for a long time, I believed that. I lived that way. I gave without counting. I trusted without questioning. If someone was mine, I assumed they would never harm me, never disappoint me in a way that mattered. That belief shaped many of my decisions. It made me generous. It made me forgiving. It made me blind in ways I didn't realize until much later. You see, life doesn't break your illusions all at once. It doesn't come to you one day and say, everything you believe is wrong. No, it's much quieter than that. It happens in small moments. A promise that isn't kept. A look in someone's eyes that feels different than it used to. A situation where you expect someone to stand beside you, and they don't. At first, you explain it away. You say they didn't mean it, or they're going through something. You protect the image you have of them because it's more comfortable than facing the truth. And maybe that's human. Maybe we all do that longer than we should. I remember a time, not one big event, but a series of small ones that started to change something inside me. Times when I needed understanding, but got silence. Times when I gave more than I had, only to realize it was expected, not appreciated. Times when decisions were made about me, without me, by people who claimed to care. It's not always betrayal in the dramatic sense. There's no shouting, no clear villain. Sometimes it's simply this quiet realization. People will choose themselves, even the ones you thought never would. And that's when something shifts. Not suddenly, but slowly. You begin to watch more than you listen. You begin to notice patterns instead of words. Because words are easy. Anyone can say they care. Anyone can promise to be there. But over time, you start to see who actually shows up, who stays consistent, who remembers you when there's nothing to gain. Age gives you that gift if you're willing to accept it. The gift of seeing clearly, not perfectly, but more honestly than before. When I was younger, I thought being a good person meant always giving people the benefit of the doubt. I thought it meant forgiving quickly, trusting easily, keeping the peace no matter what it cost me. And for a while, that made me feel like I was doing the right thing, like I was building strong relationships. But there's something no one tells you when you're young. If you are always the one who understands, always the one who forgives, always the one who gives more, you quietly teach people how to treat you, not through words, but through what you allow. And once that pattern is set, it's very hard to break. I don't regret being kind, I don't regret loving people deeply, but I do regret not protecting myself sooner. I regret thinking that being close to someone automatically meant they would respect me, value me, or look out for me the way I did for them. Because the truth is, closeness doesn't guarantee anything. Not loyalty, not honesty, not even basic consideration. People are shaped by their own fears, their own needs, their own circumstances. And when those things are strong enough, they don't always act the way you expect them to. Even if you share the same blood, the same history, the same name, that realization can hurt. I won't pretend it doesn't. There's a kind of quiet grief that comes with it. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady. It's the feeling of letting go of an idea you held onto for most of your life. But here's the part that matters. The part I wish someone had told me earlier. Letting go of that illusion doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold or distant. It means you begin to place your trust differently, more carefully, more intentionally, and most importantly, you start placing it in yourself. I learned slowly that the only person who is guaranteed to wake up with you every day, to carry your thoughts, your worries, your decisions, is you. That's not a lonely idea the way it might sound at first. In fact, it can be one of the most grounding realizations you'll ever have. Because once you truly understand that, you stop expecting others to complete what only you are responsible for. You stop handing over pieces of your life in the hope that someone else will handle them better. I've seen too many people my age suffer because they trusted too easily, too completely. They gave away control of their finances, their homes, their choices, believing it would bring them closer to their family, believing it would secure their place in someone else's care. And sometimes it works out, but many times it doesn't. Not because their family is evil, not because anyone planned to hurt them, but because life changes people. Responsibilities shift, priorities move. And when that happens, you can find yourself in a position where you have less say, less independence, and fewer options than you ever imagined. That's a difficult place to be, especially when you spent your whole life being responsible, being careful, being strong. So if there's one thing I've come to value more than anything else, it's independence. Not just financial independence, though that matters more than people like to admit. I mean the kind of independence where you still have a voice in your own life, where your choices are still yours, where you don't have to ask permission to live the way you feel is right. And that kind of independence begins with how you trust. It begins with understanding that trust is not something you give automatically. It's something that grows slowly, through consistency, through time, through observation. Clears throat. Not through titles, not through labels, not even through shared history. I've reached a point where I don't rush to trust anyone, not out of fear, but out of respect for my own peace. I take my time. Clears throat. I watch. I listen. I notice how people behave when things are easy, and more importantly, when they're not. Because that's when you see the truth. And once you start living that way, something interesting happens. You become calmer, less reactive, less disappointed. Not because people have changed, but because your expectations have. You stop being surprised when someone acts in their own interest. You stop taking it personally. You simply see it for what it is and you adjust accordingly. That doesn't mean you push people away. It means you keep your center of gravity within yourself. You don't lean so heavily on others that you lose your balance when they move. I still care about people. I still enjoy their company. I still share moments, conversations, even laughter. But there's a quiet boundary now, something steady inside me that says, no matter what happens out there, I will be all right in here. And that, more than anything, is what has given me peace in these later years of my life. Because when you trust yourself first, everything else becomes clearer. You begin to notice that you don't feel the same pressure to hold on to people the way you once did. There was a time in my life when I believed that keeping relationships intact, no matter the cost, was a sign of strength. I thought endurance was love. I thought staying silent was wisdom. I thought if I just gave a little more, understood a little deeper, waited a little longer, things would eventually become what I hoped they could be. But time has a way of correcting those beliefs. I've learned that holding on when something is quietly wearing you down is not strength. It's fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of accepting that what you thought was solid was never really yours to rely on in the first place. And once you face that fear honestly, something inside you begins to loosen. You don't need to fight people. You don't need to argue or prove a point or make them understand. You simply step back little by little and allow things to settle into their true shape. Some relationships grow quieter. Some become distant. Some fade away without a clear ending. And that used to trouble me. I used to wonder if I had done something wrong, if I should have tried harder, if I should have been more patient. Now I understand. Not everything that fades is a loss. Sometimes it's a release. There is a certain kind of peace that comes when you stop forcing connections to remain what they used to be. When you accept that people change and so do you, and that not everyone is meant to walk beside you for your entire life, no matter how close you once were. At my age, I don't have the energy to carry relationships that feel heavy. I don't have the time to keep explaining myself to people who have already decided how they see me. And I certainly don't have the desire to depend on anyone who has shown me, even quietly, that I cannot. That doesn't make me cold. It makes me careful. There's a difference. Carefulness is not about building walls so high that no one can reach you. It's about knowing where the door is and choosing wisely who you allow to walk through it. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, your peace of mind, these are valuable things. And once you begin to treat them that way, others either learn to respect them or they drift away. And either outcome is fine. I've also come to understand something else, something that may sound simple but took me a lifetime to truly accept. You can love people and still not trust them with everything. You can care about someone deeply and still keep certain parts of your life in your own hands. For many years, I thought those two things had to go together, that if you loved someone, you had to trust them completely. But life has shown me otherwise. Love is a feeling. Trust is a decision. And decisions should be made with clarity, not just emotion. There are people I love who I would never rely on in a moment of need. Not because they are bad, but because I've seen their patterns. I've seen where they hesitate, where they choose themselves, where they fall short, and that's all right. I don't expect them to be something they're not anymore. That acceptance has brought me more peace than any argument ever could. And then there is the matter of independence, something I mentioned before, but I want to return to it because it's one of the most important lessons I can leave behind. If you are fortunate enough to still have control over your life, your decisions, your finances, your daily routines, protect that. Quietly, firmly, without apology. Do not give it away too soon in exchange for comfort or reassurance, because once it's gone, it is very difficult to reclaim. I've seen friends, good people, strong people, hand over everything they worked for, believing it would bring them closer to their children, their relatives, their loved ones. They thought it would guarantee care, attention, security. But life doesn't work on guarantees, and when circumstances changed, as they always do, they found themselves in situations where they had less say, less dignity, less control than they ever imagined. Not always through cruelty, sometimes just through neglect or indifference, or the slow shifting of priorities. It's a hard thing to witness, even harder to experience. So when I say I trust no one but myself, it comes from a place of wanting to remain steady, no matter what happens around me. It's not about pushing people away. It's about standing on my own feet, so that I am not shaken when others move. Because people will move. They always do. They will change their minds, their feelings, their loyalties. They will make choices that make sense to them, clears throat, even if those choices don't include you in the way you once expected. And if your entire sense of security is tied to them, you will feel that shift deeply. But if your foundation is within yourself, you will notice it, you will understand it, and you will remain standing. There is a quiet strength in that, a calm that doesn't depend on anyone else's behavior, a sense of balance that comes from knowing that no matter how things unfold, you are still in your own hands. And in the later years of life, that may be one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Now, I won't pretend that this way of living is always easy. There are moments, quiet evenings, long mornings, when you feel the absence of what once was, the warmth of unquestioned trust, the simplicity of believing that someone else will always be there. Those feelings don't disappear completely. We are human after all, but they don't control me anymore. I've learned to sit with them, to acknowledge them, and then to return to what I know is real. And what is real is this. I have lived a long life. I have faced loss, change, disappointment, and I am still here, still thinking clearly, still choosing carefully, still capable of guiding my own life. That is enough, more than enough. If you are listening to me now, especially if you are in the later chapters of your own life, I want you to take this not as a warning, but as a quiet piece of advice from someone who has walked a long road. Be kind, yes. Care about people, of course, but do not forget yourself in the process. Do not hand over your peace in the hope that someone else will protect it better than you can. Trust slowly, observe quietly, and above all, make sure that the one person you can always rely on is the one you see in the mirror every morning. Because in the end, when everything else shifts, when people come and go, when circumstances change in ways you never expected, you will still have yourself. And that, if you take care of it properly, will never betray you. Thank you for sitting with me, for listening to an old man share what took him nearly a lifetime to understand. I hope there's something here you can carry with you, something that makes your days a little steadier, a little clearer. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.